Hey there. My name is Paul Roberts, as I'm sure many of you will know, and I'm the Chief Exec here at LGBT Plus Consortium. At our annual conference 10 days ago, we were running a little bit behind time, so I promised that I would create this short video for our membership, just to give you a bit of an operational update on where Consortium is at following the financial reporting period for up to 2022. Um, I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of our members for being absolutely incredible. The work you do each and every day on the ground is simply phenomenal. We wouldn't be able to provide the services to you if you weren't doing that work. So we hope we can play our small part in increasing the impact that you have as frontline organisations. It's been another year of growth in terms of our membership for this year. We saw the membership increase by 21%, which is quite a significant growth after we had seen a 30% increase the year before as well. And in terms of numbers, that means we've had 78 new member organizations joining us during this reporting period. So I'd like to just pay tributes to my incredible team who are there providing you with the member services each and every day, and continually looking for where the new opportunities lie so we can ensure that you've got the best support available. And this really sort of focuses in on our three key strategic pillars of ensuring that LGBT plus organizations are well resourced, LGBT plus organizations are resilient, and LGBT plus organizations are sustainable. And really that was the theme of our conference, was maintaining our foundations, and it was about how can we keep those pillars really strong, on really good footing. So as we enter an incredibly challenging period, and we've been through some incredibly challenging times, particularly for our trans and non-binary communities, um, ensure that we're playing our part in giving you those good foundations. Um, those three pillars that we have, so resourcing, sustainability, and resilience, are really, really crucial to not only the development of our own work, but we feel that the development of the sector. But we've got to ensure that they remain agile. So we've constructed it in a way that we can pivot our work. And I think with some of the messaging around what UK government is doing and how we've managed to mobilise around things like the coordination of the conversion practice messaging and the Safe to Be Me conference, plus most recently the Section 35 order around the gender recognition reform bill in Scotland. That's a really important mechanism for us of being able to be agile and have quite broad pillars that still enable us to do kind of work that wasn't always envisaged in the plan originally. So I'm just going to go through each of the three areas and a little bit of what we've done specifically in those areas. So resourcing LGBT plus organisations. This really is central to what we're doing. We are an umbrella body. We are there for you. And member engagement really is one of the critical elements of that. Um, as I've already mentioned, our membership has grown by another 21% in the last year. So that's more members that the engagement team are having to provide support for. And we've tried to ensure that that team grows in a manageable way, but also the way that we provide support it becomes more tailored. So we recognise with a membership of over 550, we can't provide that one-to-one support all the time to every single member. We recognise that there are joint needs, and we have the insight and the oversight to see what those joint needs are. So we can use that as an opportunity to bring people together. So our annual conference is one of the biggest opportunities for that, and it was so lovely to be able to be in person for the first time in 3 years. But this year, during 2023, we will see a shift into more developed work in terms of member engagement and ensuring there's those opportunities both online and offline for you to be able to get together. Grant development is one of our biggest areas, as I'm sure that you've seen. We've been steadily increasing our role as a specialist funder, and I'm really pleased that in the last year we have managed to launch the LGBT Futures Equity Fund, and this was a co-produced, co-designed, and co-delivered fund, so it's participative in nature. So those people with lived experience of the issues we wanted to fund really have been in the driving seat of the decisions that we've made. I'm also really pleased that we've managed to retain a really good donor who has been investing £20,000 a year that we can then put back out into communities and use it for targeted pockets of work. So that's called our Intersections Fund. When it comes to some of the comms work, we are still in a predominantly reactive mode, given the particularly toxic discourse that we find ourselves in at the moment. But we try to focus our own comms on positive messages and that positivity, reflecting the diversity, the intersectionality of our sector. And we do hope, as we maneuver through our strategic period, 2026, we'll be able to be a little bit more proactive in the positive messaging that we put out rather than reactive. We will also, during this next year, kind of review our values and principles document. We want to make sure that it is the best it can be and that we're providing you with the best service, but also there's that commitment from our members of how we will all work together as a sector. Next, we have resilience. Insight is one of the key areas that we are in a privileged position to be able to gather data. And we do this through various ways. We have our annual insight survey, and we know people are feeling really, really surveyed out. But for us, it's a really critical moment in the year where we can best understand what your needs are, what the impact from a range of issues is on our sector at the moment. So when that next one comes up, please, I encourage you all to fill it in. We're also driven by what we learn from members as we work with them on a daily basis. So everything that the engagement team are learning, the development and partnerships team are learning, we kind of keep a note of that, and we sort of concede some trends coming out of that. We've also kind of had some really good partnering with researchers. So we are part of a program called Gversity, and Shannon who is doing her PhD around leadership, has been seconded to us for several months. Plus, I'm also the non-academic supervisor for her research project. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be part of that, looking at LGBT plus leadership in a slightly different angle. We've also recently had the census data, so we'll be doing a little bit more work around that in the coming months around how do we use that data to kind of move things forward when it comes to recognizing the numbers within our communities. Our networks have continued to grow. They're developing into really thriving networks. So I myself chair the LGBT plus leaders network. Then we have our training providers network, our trans non-binary network, our racial justice network. And we've got a comms network emerging. So it's one of our mechanisms for ensuring that we can have that collective action and collective input and insight being gathered at all times. Leadership will be a key theme during this next year for us as well. Um, I personally will be looking to develop the LGBT Leaders Network and exploring how we work together, how we ensure that emerging leaders can access and engage with that network. The Equity Fund will also be looking at leadership through that intersectional, those targeted lenses, so we can ensure we really are thinking about the future of what our sector looks like. Um, and our small funds that we have, so we have a buy fund coming up, a faith fund coming up. We've had our intersections fund last year. Um, we're really trying to design those so that they invest in grassroots organisations, and that will allow new leaders to emerge and be supported. And then the final pillar is sustainable LGBT plus organisations. We are working really, really hard behind the scenes to kind of bring forward new funding sources. So onward grant giving is important to us, but it's not everything. It's the partner work that we do. So we have a really great relationship with Give Out, who do international LGBT plus giving. We're exploring how we can work with a potential trans donor. We do influencing work with other funders like the National Lottery Community Fund, Esme Fairburn, the Bearing Foundation. We'll be doing some more work around individual giving. We recognise that that's a huge gap, but a huge opportunity too for us and our communities. And further developing a legacy campaign. So we can be thinking about the money of the future. The LGBT plus endowment fund is still the big dream. And I really want the bare bones structure of the and the mechanisms of that to be developed in this year, so that by the end of the strategic planning period in 2026, we have something quite strong to really build on and think about how do we kind of create that sustainable income flow for the future. Sector development is one of the other areas. So we are responding to a growing and a changing membership, and that's a challenge, but also a real opportunity. We can really kind of take a step back and look at how we're best meeting your needs, how ensuring that we're reaching all parts of the UK and that we're adding value where gaps are identified with our partner organisations. So we can encourage greater collaboration, more co-developed work, and look at where the new innovations are and how we at Consortium can support that. And then the partnerships work we're doing. It's a key part of our own work, but it's also the sector's development. So we're part of and help co-lead the National LGBT Partnership, which is working within the health system in England to ensure that LGBT plus health inequalities aren't forgotten and are right at the front of the agenda. We are part of the NHS Rainbow Badges program, which is working with trusts and foundations to ensure that they're thinking about the needs of LGBT plus patients and staff. And partnerships is another area that we will continue to develop and work both within our own sector, but also externally with partners, for example, like NCVO. So what else is to come? Um, Engaging with government is tough right now, particularly the UK government. But we, as your umbrella body, have a really important role to play there, and we will continue to play that role. So as tough as it will be, we will keep communication open with government, keep the reality of what's happening for our communities live with them, and ensure that they have that intelligence. And try to work with those ally people within the realms of the UK government. We'll also ensure that equity remains that golden thread, and will alongside that co-production. It's really important and integral to what we've been doing and will continue to do. And programs like the Equity Fund really show why that matters. There remain huge challenges, of course there do, but I really do believe that there are opportunities that we will continue to explore. I promise the consortium will grab every opportunity that we see and we have the capacity to do to ensure that our communities can benefit as much as possible, and we really can turn that corner from being reactive to everything and being far more proactive and thinking about the future. So thank you for being a member. Thank you for sticking with us, renewing your membership. I'm so proud of what the organisation has been achieving. Of course, we can achieve more. We will continue to improve. We love hearing what you're thinking, and kind of that then impacts on the way we do things, how we think about things. So please stay in touch. Kind of do engage with our work, and I look forward to seeing many of you over the next year. Thank you.